I don't believe people change their lives in 1 year. I believe they prepare for them quietly, and that's what 2025 taught me. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ifeyinwa, and these are 5 steps for a woman preparing for 2026. If you're a woman who wants to elevate, who wants to truly become her, keep watching this video. And before we start, I know what it's like to feel drained, misaligned, unsure of which path she should take, dealing with people or things that are causing a lot of friction in your life and stopping you from reaching your fullest potential. I recently moved from New York City to DC on my own, well, with my daughter, who's 2 years old. And let's just say I literally did it off the whim. I am a hairstylist turned mentor. And with me being a hairstylist, it was something that I've known and did for many years, but I lost myself in the process. And being a hairstylist kept me in survival mode for a long time. I was also very misaligned in the journey. Once I started to become more in alignment with my path, the people who need to be in my life, and so on and so forth, I started seeing more abundance in my life. I started letting go of what doesn't work anymore for me. I started learning about discipline, patience, and faith. Heavy on the faith, and I learned to prepare mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. Over the course of the year, I've become closer and built a stronger relationship with God. And with that, I was able to gain more clarity on my God-given gifts and the path that I need to be on. In doing so, I realized that a lot of people are lost along the journey. I once was lost too, but now I am found, which I'm very grateful for. I believe more women truly need to figure out what their true path is in life, and also just becoming her. And becoming her is not about looks or being pretty and stuff like that, but it's more so having more discernment, being more aligned, setting boundaries, saying no, and just focusing on the woman that you need to be and becoming that woman or becoming that person to your fullest potential. And if you're a woman who has been kind of lost along the way, or you don't know where to go, or you just need that sign to figure out which path to take, then let's get into the 5 steps that you need to do to prepare for 2026. 1, you need to audit your life without lying. So firstly, you want to figure out what drains you. It could be relationships, friendships, your job, anything that is not bringing you peace, fulfillment, happiness, or bringing you closer to God. With those things, you want to figure out how to gradually remove them from your life, or if you can't remove those things or people from your life, at least set boundaries, because you don't want to go into a new year and you're not living your life to the fullest capability because there's someone or something constantly holding you back. On your journey of becoming her, it's not a glitz and glam journey. There's gonna be times where you're crying, you're uncertain, you're doubtful, you're scared, you're fearful, and that is completely normal because that is what is included in the process of shedding your old self to become a new person, to become the person you're destined to be. So you need to remove all of the things that don't align with who you are or where you're trying to go. But the first step is figuring out what those things are. Write it down, journal it, and reflect on it as well. It's so important to figure out where you're surviving in your life or where you're struggling instead of building. For me, it took me a long time to realize that I've been surviving and struggling and hustling for so long. And even though I wasn't surviving in the wrong direction, quote unquote, but I was not in alignment completely of what I need to be doing. And with that, you waste so much precious time and years when you're not building towards the person you need to become, but instead you're surviving. And clarity comes when you stop romanticizing your struggle. Number 2 is you want to build discipline before motivation. Daily structure is needed when you're trying to live a better life. If you don't have structure, you will be all over the place, whether it's finances, whether it's being in the gym, whether it's your diet, whether it's your business, etc., etc. If you don't have a structure in your life, you are going to be all over the place and you're going to just be floating by while time passing you by and nothing is being built along the way. Some examples of creating structure is creating a daily schedule, having a set time when you wake up, having a set time when you go to sleep, time blocking certain times whether you have a job or whether you have a time where you pour into content creation, scheduling content, or taking care of your children or just having solo time. You want to have all of that embedded in your schedule. So you're helping create structure, and also helps create clarity to know what you need to be doing and what you should not be giving your energy to on a day-to-day basis. You need to have small non-negotiables every single day. For example, a non-negotiable for me every single day is to post at least one form of content a day. That is a non-negotiable I created for myself to keep me consistent and to also keep me disciplined. I don't need motivation. Yes, motivation helps, but motivation will only get you so far. You need to have discipline first to really set the stone for success. Discipline and consistency will help you reach success and abundant overflow. It's so important to create consistency in your life because this will help you stay on track of where you need to go and not follow trends or follow what someone else is doing, because you're aligned and focused on your goal every single day. The life you want requires habits you don't yet have. Number 3 is to change the room before you change the goal. You want to completely change your environment. And your environment isn't only where you live and where you go, but it's also what you listen to, the people you see, what you consume, and who has access to you. Because, for example, if you have negative music, negative information, negative news always being poured into your brain, it's going to create a filter in your life, create a filter in your mind to only see the world as in a negative point of view. And that would reflect back in your life to then create negativity in your life constantly. What you consume, the music, the news, podcasts, etc., is so important because our minds are constantly being altered every single day. And it's so important to fill your mind and fill your environment with things that consist of improving yourself, improving your health, improving your life, dieting, business growth, education, etc., because you only want to consistently fill your life, your mind, and everything around you with positivity, because you don't want these things to take control of your life. It's so important to create an environment for yourself that consists of the woman that you're becoming. Becoming her is not only about setting boundaries, but you need to also create that environment and that space for her to actually be here, because your future cannot grow in the same room as your past. Step 4, stop waiting to be ready. And I know what it's like to go through imposter syndrome. There was a point when I was going through imposter syndrome for a good 6 months. Because I knew the person I wanted to become was not matching my current situation or my current lifestyle. I've always known I wanted to be a certain type of caliber of woman and live a certain type of lifestyle, but where I was at was not matching up to it. And it was making me feel uncertain, doubtful, fearful, and just watering down everything I've accomplished in life, everything I've done, how far I've been, who I was before and where I am now, because I wasn't the woman I needed to be at the time. Imposter syndrome is so real because I've been through it, and I know what it does to you mentally, emotionally, physically, and thankfully I was able to escape that. And when you really think about it, it's all in your mind. Your mind is literally the only thing that is holding you back. Nothing is ever holding you back in life, because once you believe that you deserve success, you deserve wealth, you deserve happiness, you are going to constantly attract that, because not only do you believe it, have faith, but because you also are aligning yourself to receive that success. There's no limit to success, but the first step is believing that you deserve it. And something that helped me beat imposter syndrome was constantly feeding my mind with people who are where I want to be, people who talk about faith, success, and beating imposter syndrome, doubt, and fear, and removing myself from environments that do not speak that language. For example, my Instagram. I don't follow all these negative social media pages. I don't follow people who are always talking down on somebody or talking about, negative stuff all the time. I make sure to filter my Instagram feed, filter whatever I'm watching, reading online, to be more positive and so I could see more things like wealth, success, and all that stuff on my timeline. And it also just reminds me of the positivity that comes with life. Another thing is fear of visibility and delaying expression. Man, it took me a long time to get over my fear of being visible. But the thing is, actually, I never really had a fear of being visible, like being online, making videos. I've been making videos online since as long as I can remember, since I joined Instagram. But I had a fear of judgment. I just had a fear of what people were gonna be thinking about me. Just about like how I look. I've had insecurities growing up as a child, like me stuttering, and so on and so forth, judging my life, being a mom so early, stuff like that. But those thoughts were constantly holding me back from becoming the woman I need to be. But once I truly learned that God is the only person who can really judge you, and I've surrendered all of my fear and doubt and so on to God, I learned to not care what people think. Like sometimes the thought does arise, but I always shut it down, because at the end of the day, you can't become these negative thoughts. These negative thoughts are not who you are. And that's why it is so important to be careful of what you consume, be careful of how you think. And this will help alter your mindset to become more positive and start attracting true abundance. And one thing I learned is that confidence is built after obedience, not before. And number 5, last but not least, is to prepare to hold abundance. As a Christian woman, or just as a human in general, it's so important to practice stewardship, emotional regulation, faith, and capacity. So when it comes to practicing stewardship, it's so important to this goes back to walking in your path and truly living out the God-given gifts that God has given you. And not only that, but also giving back with your skills. So when you figure out which skill you have or which gift God has truly given you, you then perfect that skill and then use that skill to help others build success and build wealth, but also doing it with the foundation of God. God only wants us to love and obey him, and love and treat our neighbors as we would want to be treated ourselves. Becoming more like Jesus, and then also giving back with whether it's your time, whether it's with money, whether it's with just spreading the good word. Those are some of the things that tie in with practicing stewardship. And then emotional regulation is so important. I know as a woman, we have our hormones, we get emotional, okay? But that's why it's so important to have that foundation that will help you get through certain emotions. It's so important to feel every single emotion. You don't hold back, and you don't build resentment, and you don't like truly understand who you are. Pour into yourself, whether it's with therapy, fitness, listening to positive music, just surrounding yourself with people who lift you up and pour into you, and you pour into them. That helps with emotional regulation and helps keep you grounded as well. When it comes to faith, and I am a Christian woman, faith is truly the foundation. And speaking from experience, when God allowed me to seek him truly and to truly surrender all of my pains and worries onto him and truly just learn about him and strengthen our relationship, it has helped me along my journey to know that, one, God always has my back. Like he never leads our children astray. He never wants bad for us. He literally wants us to build wealth, sustain it, and to give back to others while being happy and living more like Jesus. Faith is truly a great backbone to live by or to live on, because it helps a lot when it comes to those moments where you're feeling uncertain and doubtful. Faith will help constantly push you to keep succeeding, keep finding God, and keep doing what you need to do as a Christian woman. And when it comes to capacity, we need to understand how much we can really take as women, and that goes to having boundaries, but also understanding that sometimes we're not stewarding, sometimes we're not doing things to our best capability, because the woman that you want to become requires certain things that you're not doing right now. So I know what it's like to feel like you're not doing enough, you could be doing more, but you just don't know how to do more. You just don't know what to do to be able to do more. One thing that truly helped me was understanding where I'm trying to go. What do I need to do to reach that goal or reach those goals? What's holding me back, and how can I make sure I'm executing completely every day? And sometimes you might not do 100% every day. Sometimes it might be 80, 90, but at least you know you're getting 1% better every day, and that you're doing things that are bringing you closer to your goals. God prepares the person before he releases the provision. Those are the 5 steps you need to do to become her in 2026. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to guide you to become the best woman who reaches her full potential in 2026. And I'm inviting the right woman to think differently with me. If this video resonated with you, stay because there's more coming. And with that being said, I'm so grateful for all the support. I hope this video helped you, and that is all. Thank you for watching my video, and I will see you guys soon. Peace.